This is the beginning of a new project. It's a writing project. It's a video project. I'm coming out here. Well, not here. This isn't really far enough from people and civilization for my liking. But I'll be going out into the woods at least once a week and spending at least 4 hours in the woods. Just like meditating and writing and doing this. I can hear a million things right now that aren't nature, so I will have to go somewhere else. This is just the first kind of dip into this. But it's still pretty chill out here. No one's going to come down here. There are signs saying don't come down here. So, I mean, the dangerous place is over there. This is fine. But, you know, my pants are nice and wet from going through the bushes too. No one's going to come down here. I'm fine. So I'm going to spend a few hours just writing, and then, you know, see what I come up with. I have no clue what I'm going to write. That's kind of the point. The version of me that lives in a city and has a wife and a kid and neighbors and a job, that guy doesn't really know what to write right now. He wrote a novel called City Full of Strangers. Not surprisingly, it's about living in a city, a future city, but, you know, with all the stress and problems of living in it, well, a bunch of the problems that I've had to deal with kind of put into this fiction. And now I want to write something where I'm alone. There is no chance of someone that I know showing up and being like, hey, I need you to help me with this problem. Which when you're married and you have a kid, you know, even if they don't ask, you can, and you're aware that there's things going on that you could help with, like you want to do something about it. It's very distracting. Even just, and you know, I've tried the coffee shop thing. It's way too interesting in there. There's way too many people to empathize with and be interested in, and I can't do that. I can. It's actually really fun. I love doing it, but it's like, it's not what I'm going for here. I want to be undistracted. I want to be a weird guy in the woods, just writing and making little videos, logging the process and sharing it with you. I hope you like it. If you hate it, that's fine too. What are you going to do? Beat me up? Probably not. Anyway, I think my mind is starting to, I've been out here like just sitting here for like 20 minutes and I'm getting ready. I think my mind is like the deeper mind that does the writing, is wanting to come out and do some of that. I might do some more video later, but if not, see you next week. Bye-bye. I'm heading back to the official civilization that I live in. I'm pretty mellowed out. I was sitting in that chair for 2 hours straight. I wanted to do more, but it's honestly not that comfortable. I think I'd like to come up with some other plan, a little bit of a modified plan where I can like lie down when I want to, because I'm actually like, it's hard to tell with this lens, but I'm actually a little too tall for this this little chair. It's comfortable for, I would say, an hour and 45 minutes, and then after that it's not comfortable at all. So I'm gonna keep working on this, but honestly I feel really good. I was sitting there coming up with ideas, working stuff out, and I would recommend this to anyone. I got into the zone that I wanted to get into. That's the bottom line, and I'm really glad I did that. And I've got some really cool ideas coming through. It hasn't really, I've got one main one that's revealing itself. Don't want to say anything just yet. Let's keep that curiosity going. You can just kind of wonder what is coming out. But I will say this, like sitting still with minimal distractions, although there are a lot of birds around here and bugs and slugs and interesting things and plants to catch your attention, but really there's nobody coming up and tapping on my shoulder saying you've got to go do this now, or I'm not, hearing the neighbor maybe needing me to move my car, or like, nothing at all really requiring me to do anything other than what I'm doing, which is just sitting there and focusing. Maybe some people have an easier time, but I will say, even if that's the case for you, if you sit there out somewhere that's not your usual spot and there's not a bunch of people everywhere, you will get into a zone that's very special. I just now was reconnecting with stuff from like my childhood that I think is really going to be important in this project. Who knows? I might do something completely different, but like, just as like a kind of hint, I was thinking about Dungeons and Dragons and how much I liked that as a kid, and Pokemon, and Harry Potter a little bit, but that was something more specific. I'll give you a little hint of what I'm talking about. It's like when I was reading Harry Potter, the first book, when I was 11 years old, I had a leather bookmark that I would chew on while I read it, and it made it more immersive. I don't know why, but now anytime I smell leather, it like brings me to this magical place. Not even like specific to Harry Potter, because I honestly I'm not, as an adult, a huge Harry Potter fan. And there's like controversy around the author now, J.K. Rowling, and I just don't care for any of that. But that magical feeling is what I'm chasing after. Similarly with D&D, I had these old Dungeons and Dragons, like monster manuals and Dungeon Master's Guide and stuff. They were left in a bag, I think it was, or they were left in my locker or something, where there was some food went bad and there was mold, and the books smelled like mold. Not the most pleasant smell for most, but now anytime it's a really specific mold smell that I remember working on like old houses and renovating these houses. And sorry, there was a fly. And I'll just here and there I'll smell this smell, and it like brings me back to this really specific feeling that I would get when I was reading, specifically looking at like monster manuals and using my imagination, imagining these creatures, and just reading it by myself. Playing the game was a different thing, where everyone's there's a certain vibe to that, a little bit different, quite a bit different actually, for me. So I remember that was more like fun, and you're, messing with each other and making jokes and stuff, and fine. But what I really remember was reading fantasy. I mentioned Pokemon. I don't know if there's a smell or something, but like there was that I read at a certain time. I think it was 8 or 9. I say read. I was reading the comics before I played any of the games or anything. Late 90s, I don't know. Pokemon hadn't quite gotten big here. But anyway, you can tell I'm more relaxed, right? There's a certain kind of imagination that I'm going for here. And a sort of feeling from my childhood is coming back that I haven't really given myself the opportunity to feel properly as an adult. And I don't think most people do. Like, obviously. Star Wars just popped into my head too. And there's a similar thing there. And actually, yeah, I'll bring up George Lucas. Like he talks about how like Westerns stopped being a thing. So he made Star Wars to kind of fill that gap. Like every generation has to have these moral tales. And, Lord of the Rings, I think, is another one that was brought back with the movies. Not that it went anywhere, but it became huge again because of the Peter Jackson movies. I'm not saying I'm going to do the next Lord of the Rings, the next Harry Potter, or Star Wars, or Pokemon, or Dungeons and Dragons, but like there is something essential there to all these. They're like all like fantasy or sci-fi, and it's just this pure imagination kind of feeling. Yeah, point being, like going off into the woods, I'm getting exactly what I wanted out of this, which is like getting into a different state of mind. It honestly took about an hour to get rid of the usual day-to-day stuff and just like writing out a lot of feelings and fears and like just stupid thoughts that don't really matter. Kind of got rid of all that, and then it was like a good hour of just like going inward and getting to that like rich imagination zone. I drew a picture of a gnome. Here it is. All right, I'm gonna call it there. See you next week for real. Bye bye.